Is there a better person to bring JP Morosi on than a fellow Michigander repping the Old English D? JP joins us. JP, you're missing out on a pretty good time here at the flagship store, by the way.
I am. Hey, please, by the way, send back some Old English D gear to me, my friends. I would love that. The best logo, not that I'm biased or anything, but the best logo in all of Major League Baseball is the Old English D. I love Jalen Rose rocking the Old English D with the maize and blue motif there to represent the University of Michigan, which, by the way, first in the Big Ten as of last night, but I digress. I thought he actually had a little bit of a Lou Whitaker batting stance there from the left side. What do you think, Harold? Lou Whitaker belongs in the Hall of Fame, my friend.
No doubt about it.
You were this close to wearing the Motor City.
I almost wore the Motor City. I like the Motor City, but I had to rock Ozzie Smith. I mean, come on.
I got to rock Robin, right? We're going 82 Suds series back and forth here.
This is my World Series pick.
Looks good.
Okay. 3 years in a row now. I got the Phillies winning it all.
JP, we're here live, as you know, at the flagship store, Midtown Manhattan, celebrating the official start of spring training. So as such, let's tee you up on what you feel are the top storylines entering spring training this year.
Well, Matty, I've got 3 for you right now to begin, and certainly Glendale, Arizona, the focus, the reigning World Series champions, and the Dodgers just releasing video in the last couple days of, yes, Shohei Ohtani back on the mound. He was actually throwing off the mound earlier this week. The target date still appears to be sometime in May for him to throw major league games, but all signs, especially when you consider that he had the left shoulder surgery as well, it looks really good for Shohei to be back on the mound in the first half of the year. And let's be honest, because of the Dodgers' pitching depth, he can take his time. I can't stress this enough. At some point in the first half of the year, they're expected to bring back 2 Hall of Famers, not just All-Stars, but Hall of Famers back into their rotation. Shohei and Clayton Kershaw, who has now agreed to a contract with the Dodgers.
Hey, here's something up there. Hey, what? Ryan? Cranston, is that you? What are you doing up there, man?
I'm a Dodger fan. I'm an endangered species. They're after us. Go away! Go away!
Yeah, Bryan Cranston is a Dodger fan. I guess he just doesn't want the attention that the Dodgers have drawn with all the signings this offseason. We'll talk about that as we continue live. As Harold likes to say, we're live.
Just telling you.
At the MLB flagship store, Midtown Manhattan. Mr. and Mrs. Metter here. We got the Nike RBI kids here and tons of gear. Are we going to do one more outfit change?
Oh, yeah. I got one coming.
Compile swag.
What do you got lined up?
Oh, I can't. It's a City Connect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to get where?
I saw a Shohei sequin shirt. I got my eye on it.
You should do that.
It's probably very expensive.
Are you doing another outfit?
And I'm taking it.
Something behind you, maybe? Maybe some Dodger gear? And that gets us into our next little bit of conversation here. Let's go to X for this from Alden Gonzalez. Clayton Kershaw is at the Dodgers facility playing catch. He and the Dodgers have agreed to terms on a new deal, per source. Though he still has to finish going through his physical, we assume that to be a series of thumbs-ups and feel-goods because the future Hall of Famer is back in the only Major League uniform he's ever worn for an 18th season. And
he was so emotional last year, too, man.
He was emotional at World Series time.
When they won the World Series, yeah.
I think, you know, he wants to go out with another big year. I don't know that a partial year starting and being on and off the IL is satisfactory to him. And he also knows what they've built around him, and he wants to be a part of it. Who wouldn't want to be a part of that team?
You know, I spoke with Clayton in the clubhouse right after they won the World Series, and he was in tears. And he said, this organization just means so much to me. And he said something that stuck out to me. He said, you have to think about this. It's the backfields at spring training in February. It's the beautiful grind of 162. That's when we start, and this is the culmination. And it starts today.
And the beauty of him starting late a little bit this year, you know, he's not coming right off with the active roster. I'd keep him healthy for the postseason. You know, he's just such of a weapon. They got so much depth in the pitching staff, but not for me to talk about. Let's hear somebody.
You know, the 18 seasons, by the way, that ties him with Bill Russell and Hall of Famer Zach Wheat for the longest tenured term in a Dodger uniform. That is just amazing. And look at this.
You would think they'd have guys longer. That somebody would be in that 20-year range. That's a long career, but
yeah, it's a long career. How about the 10-man staff they've put together, Harold?
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, try finding,
it's
figuring
not the 10 man. It's like 10 men.
Legitimately 10 guys.
How are they going to employ it? And we'll talk to Dave Roberts in a little bit, because their eye, I spoke with Joel Sherman on the show the other day. He said their eye is obviously on October. They don't have to go every 5th day. Maybe Blake Snell will be that guy, but the rest of the guys, for Shohei, of course, give him a little bit of time and make sure he's good when it counts.
Yeah. Right. Today is the first official day of spring training. That's what we're doing here, kicking off the occasion at the MLB flagship store. And the Dodgers arriving yesterday for duty in Glendale.
What do you love about it?
Your outfit has to be on point. You have to have the right coffee. A lot of the teams ask a question of the day. I know the Yankees do that. What's your favorite animal? You know what I mean? And that it just gets, I don't know, everyone's, there's a spotlight on guys as they walk into camp. It's a show.
So good. And the kind of the conductor of the show, if you will, joins us on our Sage Managers interview. Our friend Dave Roberts from Glendale with bells on today. Doc, happy opening of spring training officially. Thanks for being with us.
Well, guys, I've got the dynamic trio to have a conversation with, so thanks for having me on. Yeah, Lauren, the guys were rocking their outfits, and that's a thing these days, so it's good to get back to work.
Little swag.
Hey, Doc, last time I saw you in that ballpark there, Will Ferrell was visiting. We were talking about Rolodexes. He's got a pretty impressive Rolodex. How many celebrities you have coming through there throughout the summer, I should say spring camp, and even though it's quick before you have to head to Japan?
They're gonna be coming. They're gonna be rolling through. Will's gonna make another trip out here. There's gonna be it's gonna be like Happy Gilmore 2. We're gonna have some cameos that I just can't disclose right now, HR. But hopefully it'll line up for your trip out to the desert.
Dave, we look at your roster and we think stars for days. Is there any challenge in that, managing superstars on superstars? How do you navigate it?
I do think that there is an art to managing high expectations and managing superstars. Fortunately, I've got I built a relationship with all these guys and look to further my relationship with Shohei. And, Blake Snell is in town now, so just kind of having a great conversation with him yesterday. But there is, because they all got to, as Josh Bard always says, they always got to be told they're pretty at some point. So you got to kind of divvy out the compliment, but you got to ride them too, because they all, I think for the most part is they all want to make sure that you can make them better. And so you got to have some content as well when you're talking to these guys.
A little bit of a different timeline, Doc, with the sprint-style spring training. I know you guys have been there a little sooner than a lot of teams because you're headed out to Tokyo to open the season before everybody else is settled into their shoes. Talk about some of those challenges and maybe what you're doing specific to that series.
Yeah, I think that one good thing is that we had the run last year as far as going to South Korea and going and understanding the timing, the rhythm, what it entails. So we reported on time. I think that really being resolved to the fact that you don't need to build pitchers up to 6 and 90 for those 2 games in Tokyo. I think that we feel really good about that. So it's going to be sort of use a lot of different arms. I think the position players will be fine as far as ramping up, getting ready. We've got 2 exhibition games there in the Tokyo Dome, which is going to be great. I actually think guys, to be honest, knowing that we only have 4 weeks of spring training here in the desert, guys are excited about. And I did a trip this past winter with my son to Tokyo. And honestly, guys, it restored my sense and kind of global humanity. The people there were fantastic. They can be kind. People can be kind. And then the food was fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to my players kind of seeing that culture and winning a couple ball games. But honestly, HR, I think the X's and O's, the logistics, we feel good about that.
So let me ask you, I mean, Tokyo's got to be, that's going to be fun, man. I'm not expecting Shohei, but what about Sasaki and Yamamoto? Are they going to pitch those 2 games? Will they be pitching in Japan?
I think the expectation for both those guys to pitch is real. That's our expectation. But as I say that, you just never know. Today's our first day of pitchers and catchers, so things can certainly change. But I think at the outset, that's the anticipation. Yeah.
Hey, we asked Torey Lovello about this, Doc, about lightening up camp and doing something when it starts to drag a little bit. So back to your experiences, even as a player, is there something you can remember, like 4+ weeks into camp, when everybody wants to get out of there, that a manager had done or a coach had done that made everybody smile?
Well, I think giving veterans an off day is always nice. You know, it's one of those things that you're looking at the schedule, you got 6 weeks, and there's one off day, but then the manager goes, hey, you know, today don't show up to the ballpark, and, you know, you have an off day. Go to Sedona, do whatever the heck you want, go play some golf. That's good. You know, Buddy Black always did a lot of great things in trying to get outings together and get players to go do certain things. And I kind of took that and ran with it myself and sort of tried to make it my own. But I think for me is shortening the days, which I think a lot of people in all industries or sports manage workload. So we're in and out. We're pretty efficient over here at Camelback Ranch.
Dave, we were just talking with the commissioner about the moment he fell in love with the game. For me, it was when Cal Ripken Jr. broke Lou Gehrig's consecutive games played streak. What was that moment for you? Do you remember as a young boy?
Oh, man, that's a great question. The first thing that comes to mind is I remember I lived on a little hill, and my dad would be in his fatigues from work. So call it 5 o'clock, and we would just play catch. And what's that whole, like, let's have a catch? And so my dad and I, God rest his soul, would play catch. I remember sleeping in my baseball uniform before Little League games and opening day. I think I was there for Tony Gwynn's 2000 hit against the Rockies at Jack Murphy Stadium, and that was something really special to me. Yeah, and I think, honestly, guys, just coaching baseball, coaching these players and watching guys practice, I just can't get enough. And I would go to high school right now and go watch high school players take grounders and run an infield right now because I just love the game. And it's good to hear the commissioner say that, yeah.
No, that's really cool stuff. All right, I want to ask you about 3 players. Last time we saw Freddie Freeman, he was hobbling around on an ankle. I want to know how he's doing, how that ankle healed up. I want to know about Sasaki, the first time you saw him in person now in the uniform, some of your thoughts. And then Shohei, where's he at with the shoulder, and how are we going to get him back to pitching, or what are we going to see early from him? Go ahead. You got the floor.
All right, so Freddie, swinging the bat really well. I think everything is good except the running. Fielding grounders, he feels good, going lateral. Running is going to take a little bit more time, which we certainly have. He's in a good headspace physically. He's going to be fine. Roki, it's a little bit like if you look back at Shohei when he came over to the States, I see a little bit of Shohei as far as just kind of the boyish sort of physique, not as broad shoulders, but in a uniform, man, he looks really good in a uniform. And I do think that after all of the things that he kind of took on this offseason, there's a big exhale that there was some finality to his decision. And he's just trying to fit in right now. And we're excited certainly to have him. But he's only going to get better. And I think he's got a pen today. So I'm looking forward to watching him throw his pen today. And Shohei, he's great. Looks good physically. I think last year there was a lot of newness, but I know he's excited to start pitching again. And as you mentioned at HR, he's not going to pitch in Tokyo, but sometime shortly thereafter he will. But that's all contingent on his buildup. So right now, as we saw, he's playing catch. He's going to throw a pen here soon, and we'll see where he's at. I don't think anyone really knows that answer, but I do know Shohei's going to try to push us as much as he can to get out there and pitch in a big league ball game.
Doc, before we let you go, I can't believe we haven't asked you this already. Have you seen the ring? Have you seen a peek at the ring?
Lon gave me a sneak peek of the ring, and Lon Rosen did, and so it is spectacular. I don't know when we're going to get them, but it's got that. I don't know. I can't divulge too much, but I'm not a jewelry guy like a lot of these guys are rocking the jewelry, but I can't wait to own it, rock it, and then stick it in my safe. But the goal is to get another one. So I got 3. I need a couple more.
Dude, fill out the whole hand, man. Doc, we appreciate the time. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts joining us. First official day of spring training. Thanks, Doc. Look forward to catching up with you again.
All right, team. Take care.
Appreciate you, Doc.
All right, we're going to take another break. We'll continue live from the MLB flagship store in Midtown Manhattan. Mr. and Mrs. Med have been sabotaging all the Yankee gear.
Mr. Met's give me the eye.
It's hey, man. He's got his wife right there. Now she's
heated.
That's a hacked off look.
That's a hacked off mascot.
Lauren Shahadi and Mrs. Met fight.
Next.
Right after the break.
2024年のドジャースは、これまで以上に輝いている。ついにスプリングトレーニングが始まり、新シーズンに向けた準備が本格化したグレンデールのキャンプ地では、選手たちが最高の状態を目指して汗を流し、チーム全体が一丸となっている。今年のドジャースは、過去最強ともいえる戦力を揃え、ワールドシリーズ制覇に向けた本気度が伝わってくる。今シーズン、最も注目すべきは、大谷翔平の復帰だ。オフシーズンに手術を受けた彼は、現在ブルペンでの投球を再開し、5月のマウンド復帰を目指している。左肩の回復も順調で、再び二刀流としての活躍が期待される。彼が投手として戻ってくる瞬間、ドジャースファンだけでなく、世界中の野球ファンがそのプレーに息を飲むことになるだろう。そして、大谷と並んでチームを支えるのが、長年ドジャースの象徴として活躍してきたクレイトン・カーショーだ。彼は今シーズン18年目となるシーズンを迎える。ドジャース一筋の彼が持つ経験と精神的支柱としての存在感は計り知れない。昨シーズンの悔しさを晴らし、再びワールドシリーズの舞台に立つことを目標にしている彼の姿は、多くのファンの心を揺さぶるはずだ。さらに、今年のドジャースは、新たな戦力として、日本から山本由伸が加入した。彼は、日本プロ野球で圧倒的な成績を残し、メジャーリーグでもすぐに適応できると期待されている。その精密なコントロールと多彩な球種は、すでにチームメイトからも高く評価されており、ローテーションの一角を担う存在となることは間違いない。加えて、将来的に佐々木朗まれがチームに加わる可能性も取り沙汰されており、もしそれが実現すれば、ドジャースの投手陣はまさに史上最強クラスとなる。打撃陣もこれまで以上に強力だ。ムーキー・ベッツ、フレディ・フリーマン、ウィル・スミス、マックス・マンシー、そして新加入の手オスカー・ヘルナンデスなど、どこからでも得点できる破壊力を持つ打線が完成している。これだけのメンバーが揃った打撃陣は、メジャーリーグ全体を見てもトップクラスだろう。今シーズン、彼らがどれだけの打撃成績を残すのか、ワクワクせずにはいられない。しかし、強力な戦力を持っていても、それだけで勝てるわけではない。ワールドシリーズ制覇には、チームワークと結束力が不可欠だ。ドジャースは幸いにも デーブ・ロバーツ監督の下で強固なチームスピリットを築き上げてきた。特にロバーツ監督は選手たちとのコミュニケーションを重視し、大谷翔平とも綿密に対話を重ねている。彼のリーダーシップのもと、ドジャースは単なるスター軍団ではなく、一つのまとまりとして最高のパフォーマンスを発揮するだろう。今シーズンの開幕戦は東京でのグローバルシリーズとなる。これは日本の野球ファンにとっても特別な一戦となるだろう。大谷翔平の凱旋試合、新加入の山本由伸のメジャーデビュー、さらには日本の若手スター選手との対決など、見どころは尽きない。この試合はドジャースが世界規模で注目されるチームであることを示す最高の舞台となる。そして長い162試合のシーズンを経て、最後に待っているのはワールドシリーズ制覇だ。2020年以来となる栄光を手にすることができるのか。今年のドジャースにはその可能性が十分にある。ここでファンの皆さんにもぜひ意見を聞きたい。今年のドジャースのキープレイヤーは誰になると思うか。5月に大谷翔平が投手復帰したらどんな活躍を期待するか。2024年のワールドシリーズ優勝チームはどこになるのか。ぜひコメント欄で教えてほしい。そしてまだチャンネル登録をしていない方は今すぐ登録を。最新のドジャース情報や試合分析をどこよりも早くお届けする。今年もドジャースと共に最高のシーズンを楽しもう。